Okay, hey everybody, Tekking here. This is going to be a very brief video. It's going to be kind of a quickie. I actually have to be at work in less than an hour, but I'm working all day and I'm going to be busy with the review tomorrow, so I wanted to get something out for you guys today. I didn't even have time to change my fucking poster back here. So I went to my Twitter and I asked for video ideas just really quick, and this idea comes to us from a Ninja, so thank you, Ninja. Favorite moments from post-Timeskip so far. I really like that. I thought that was a good idea for a very brief video, and also, it made me think that, like, wow, it has been a decent amount of time since the time skip. I mean, people that just started reading One Piece, like, in the past few years, they probably don't remember it all that well, but I was a senior in high school when that happened, and you had to wait, like there was, like, a 5-week gap between the, chapter 597 and 598, and that was, like, it was, like, weird. I remember reading the last chapter pre-time skip, and then having to wait, like, an entire month, you know, and, you know, expecting it to finally come out, and I remember I thought it was going to come out one week, but then it didn't. It was the next week after that, and I got really disappointed. I remember that, but yeah, it was pretty wild, right? So, but that was 7 years ago. That was 2010. Around September of 2010 that happened. So, a lot of shit has occurred since then. We've had the Return to Sabaody arc, Fishman Island arc, Punk Hazard arc, Dressrosa, which in and of itself is the longest arc in One Piece, period, 100 chapters, which you could really tell that Oda was planning on that for a while. I felt like Oda was sitting on Doflamingo for a long time, just kind of like gripping his freaking pen, like, oh man, I can't wait till I get to have an entire arc all about Doflamingo. It's gonna be great. And it ended up being the longest arc in the series. And then after that, we had the little mini arc of Zou, and now currently we're in Totland with Reverie and Wano Kuni on the horizon. So for this video, I just want a very simple premise. Just tell me what your favorite moment post-time skip One Piece is. You know what? I'll even cheat a little bit. I don't even care if it's canon or not. If you're really into that little side arc in the anime where Breed, you know, put the fucking control collars on Luffy and Law, and the Kung Fu Dugongs come back, or if you were really a big fan of that. Well, actually, okay, that Marine arc we just had with Grum, I think his name was, the Marine guy with the giant gorilla arm, that was kind of cool. And you know what? Even movies are legal, you know? Film Z, that's post-time skip. Film Gold, that's definitely post-time skip. So you know what? Anything's fair game. But if you want to hear my favorite moment from the last, from the post-time skip One Piece, you could probably already tell by the thumbnail, but my favorite moment easily is, that's not it, damn it, it's Law's backstory. Yes, Trafalgar Law's backstory that we get in Dressrosa. We actually get a lot of flashbacks in Dressrosa, just because how fucking huge it was. You know, we got the backstory with King Riku, we got the backstory with Kyros, we got the backstory with Doflamingo, and we got the backstory with Law and Corazon. The one I like the most out of all of them, and the one that I like the most after the entire, you know, the time skip, you know, after the few, like, 200-something chapters after the time skip, that would be that moment. You know, it follows the same, like, trend that most One Piece backstories do, whereas it's depressing as fuck. You know, Law is, he starts off living in the White Town and Flevance, and it's, like, so nice there, and his family's really wealthy, and his parents are, like, doctors, and he, you know, even though he's kind of the social outcast, as you could probably tell in this picture, you could tell he did have friends, you know, and that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, that all changed when they got amber lead poisoning, you know, that'll happen too. The ore that they were mining out of this town, you know, and ended up afflicting the citizenry, which that even just gives you an idea for how much, like, the wealthy and how much the government can fuck up people, because guess what? The government knew that this substance was poisonous, and yet they still kept mining it anyway. It's like, oh, well, this is going to result in the citizens of this white town becoming, you know, horribly ill and poisoned, and they're probably all going to die. The world government's just like, yeah, keep going, you know? And the way that the amber lead syndrome hit was really messed up, and I like the way that he did this. I think it does mirror, like, some sort of real-life disease, but I can't look that up right now. It's like where it affects the generations, but it affects the generations at the same time. So the first generation that comes in contact with amber lead, let's say it'll take 60 years to affect them, but then they have children, it'll only affect that generation in 30 years, and then the next generation in 15 years, and then pretty soon, it'll all hit at the same time, even though it's, like, wide across generations. So, you know, that's pretty sad, where Law had to basically crawl into a pile of corpses in order to get out of the town that was being quarantined by the world government. But the thing that took a spin on it was that it wasn't just him by himself. It wasn't just Law, trying to fight for himself, trying to live. He actually had help. He had somebody trying to assist him there, and that, of course, was Doflamingo's brother, Roshinate, also known as Corazon, or Corazon. And, you have, like, Nami's backstory, where, like, nobody was really trying to help Nami. Nami, was in service of Arlong, and she kind of distanced herself from other people. There wasn't really a lot of people. There wasn't like somebody in the Arlong Pirates that was looking out for Nami. It wasn't like with Brooke's backstory. Brooke was completely alone. Robin was completely alone in her backstories. Law at least had somebody that was trying to fucking help him, trying to cure him. And let me tell you guys, one of the most heartbreaking things that I've read in One Piece it's the montage when Corazon is taking Law to all these great hospitals, all the best hospitals in the land. And every single hospital... See, Amber Lead Syndrome is not a disease that can be spread. It's not contagious. It's a poisoning, all right, that you have to contract, like, through, like, either actually touching the ore or being genetically related, right? So, it's not actually a disease, but the world government spread it that it was, and so every hospital that they go to, the hospitals are like, get him out of here! We don't want that cursed, child with that weird hell disease. Get him out of here! And so you have this moment where, like, Law's like a little kid. I mean, he's a brilliant kid, but he's still a little kid, and every time somebody tries to help him, every adult that he goes to is like, get him away from here, get him away! How hard must that be on Law? But then you have Corazon, who is an adult, who's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? He's a little kid, try to help him. And he's like, no, we don't want to die. You mean to tell me you want me to risk my life as a doctor to help save a child? What the fuck is this? Get him out of here! That's messed up, but it also kind of gives you an idea of how the world government can kind of control the world, and how can they spread a rumor, and it is fact. It gets put on the books, so that really gives you an idea there. And then, of course, you have the most heartbreaking moment of it all on Swallow Island, when you have the moment between trying to get the Oppi no Mi, and you have Doflamingo arriving, which eventually results in... It's like just one heartbreaking moment after another, but it really helps shape Law's character, and it's executed really well. But the straw that broke the camel's back is that moment where you think things might be okay. So, the Marines have arrived on the island. We know Suru is there, and Suru is kind of the vice admiral that's been, like, following Doflamingo. Like, if Garp's thing was chasing after the King of the Pirates, Roger, Suru's thing is chasing after the Doflamingo gang. So, and you can tell Doflamingo is, like, kind of actually scared of Suru. And, but that's actually another thing I really enjoyed, was, like, their interactions at the end of Dressrosa, when Suru is just sitting there on the ship, and Doflamingo's in chains, and he's just like, oh, man, Fujitora is an idiot, Suru-san. Like, you can tell, like, they hate each other, but they also kind of respect each other. Like, well, you're a pirate scumbag, but you were a pretty successful pirate scumbag. He's like, yeah, you're an old bat from the Navy, but I respect you, old woman. So I like that moment, too. But they arrive on the island, and you think it's gonna be okay. Corazon gives Law, like, that little coded message in that thing, and he's like, deliver this to the Marines. I'm a commander in the Marines. I think that's what his rank was. I'm a commander in the Marines. Go and deliver this to them. And if it gets up to Sengoku, you might be okay. We might be able to get out of this. And so you have this moment where Law takes it to a Marine officer, somebody he thinks he can trust, and it turns out to be fucking Virgo. And I'm just like, no, man, come on. They were so close to a happy ending. But no, then you have Virgo just proceed to pummel the shit out of Corazon and Law, and it's only really through a series of very lucky circumstances that they managed to get out of this okay, and through the use of Corazon's power, which Doflamingo doesn't understand all that well, the Nagi no Mi, the silent fruit, allowing, Law to be in, like, the treasure chest behind Corazon. He silences it with his power. Doflamingo doesn't know that power, how that power works, so they're just sitting there, and Doflamingo and Corazon are kind of having a back to forth, back and forth, sorry. And then just by happen chance, the Marines happen to pick up a small child. And so it's like Buffalo and Baby 5 relay this information to Doflamingo, like, that we heard on the Black Den Den Mushi that the Navy managed to save a child. And Doflamingo assumes it's Law, and he's like, "Aw, damn you, he got away, you son of a bitch." But it turns out it was actually Drake. It was actually Drake who managed to escape. It was just happen chance that happened to, turn out the way it is. But it doesn't always have a happy ending, because Corazon gets shot and killed by his brother. Very emotional scene there. Juxtaposed, I believe, with the moment that Doflamingo had to kill his own dad. So you see him, like, Doflamingo is, like, he's like, "Why do I have to keep killing my own family members? I don't like to do this, but you keep fucking up my kind of criminal enterprise. I'm trying to do something here, and I'll kill my family if I have to do it. It's just, I really don't prefer it." Oh well. And then that's how that went down there. Law eventually, Corazon force feeds him the Oppi Oppi no Mi before this, and then that really clicks everything together. That really makes you understand why Law hates Doflamingo so much, why Law went through this huge plan to try to, ally with the Straw Hat Pirates, try to get one over on Caesar, break up the sad manufacturing facility on Punk Hazard, going to Dressrosa and wrecking the Smile Factory, and then trying to get Kaido. It's not just like Law is a pirate and is like, I just want to take out Doflamingo because he's one of the warlords. No, it really gives you like, no, you don't understand. You don't fucking understand. I've hated this guy for a long time, and I've been devoting every single little spare moment of my life to try to figure out a plan to take this son of a bitch down. And here's, it didn't really end out the way, it didn't go according to plan. Law lost an arm in the process, but it did end up working out. He had to put his faith in Luffy at the end there. Law was beaten down. But still, it was really, Law still helped out. Even in the final battle between Luffy and Doflamingo, which is also a very high contender for that being one of my favorite moments from post-Timeskip. But, I feel like that's going to be a moment a lot of people are going to pick. Even in that moment, when Luffy is struggling to go into Gear 4th and, the Kong gun and everything, you still have Law in the shadows, using his shambles to move things around. Like, he moved Rebecca out of the way when Luffy started fighting Doflamingo, and after Luffy was falling, he saved him again, And keep in mind, Law freaking, he reattached his arm, but it's like, he's bleeding, he's missing a lot of stamina here, which is what his whole Devil Fruit power runs on. He probably lost quite a few years on his life during that battle. He even said that when he set up that giant room, during the fight. He's like, "It'll shorten my lifespan, but I will do anything to kill you," And I still think that scene with the Gamma Knife and Doflamingo, that was bullshit. That was so bullshit. It's like, this is a Gamma Knife. This is like my ultimate technique that'll, like, damage the organs. And Law just rams that shit right into Doflamingo. Like, "Die, you motherfucker! Just die, die, die!" And just, like, his lungs, his heart, everything's just ripped to shreds. But then Doflamingo's like, "Oh no, I could just stitch my internal organs back up with my strings. It's not a big deal." I'm like, screw you. Come on, really? Come on, does that work? Like, I just cut your there's a giant gaping hole in your heart. Oh no, it's fine, I just patched it up with strings. But the backstory is really the highlight. That's what I really wanted to focus on here. The backstory is the thing that really gets us into Law's, character, where he is now. We understand his personality a little bit after all the stuff he's been through. We didn't get his hatred of bread, though, which I find odd. I feel like that should have been something that really, that's a missed opportunity, Oda. You didn't really expound upon why he hates bread so much. Like, I don't know, maybe on their journey through all the hospitals and everybody rejecting him, all they had to eat was bread, and then Law was like, going from island to island, being rejected by every doctor we meet and eating nothing but bread, that's kind of put me off on bread for a while. But that's my favorite moment, post-Timeskip, Law's backstory. What is yours? Let me know. I gotta get going, because I still need to make a thumbnail and all this shit for this. But have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment below. Thanks for the 150k subs once again. The review will be out tomorrow. I'm just going to be very busy these next few days, so just prepare for that, I guess. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Tekking signing out. Later, guys.